Eyes now on how this victory will affect President Trump's legacy and his re-election bid. Looking back at President Obama and the raid that killed Osama bin Laden in 2011, his Gallup approval rating jumped 7 points after bin Laden's death. That accomplishment regarded as a major point that helped lead to Obama's re-election. Joining me right now is Trump 2020 campaign senior advisor and former White House senior advisor for strategic communications, Mercedes Schlapp. Mercedes, always great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
What do you think this means for the president's re-election?
Well, I mean, the president doesn't do this for the re-election. This is more so because the president took a tremendous risk in trying to take down this horrific ISIS leader, someone who had inspired thousands of Muslims to join the radical Islamic terrorist group. So I think for the president, he gave the military the green light to go. It was a successful military operation. It shows the president's vision and leadership in terms of ensuring that we're going to bring to justice those terrorists who are on the loose, and that's a priority for this president. And it just shows that if we take this targeted approach, we're able to basically go after these terrorists and continue to destroy ISIS and ensure that they don't reorganize.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredibly courageous of our special ops and certainly very risky, as you say. And yet it was hard to get a compliment from any of the president's skeptics, from the media to the Democrat leadership. The Washington Post is facing backlash over its coverage of al-Baghdadi's death, going so far as changing its headline on the story 3 times. So first, the Washington Post writes this: Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Islamic State's terrorist-in-chief, dies at 48. Then somebody said, well, that's not good. We've got to change that headline. So they changed it to this headline: Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. Austere scholar. Then finally somebody else comes in and says, well, we got to change that headline again. They change it again to this: Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of Islamic State, dies at 48. Mercedes, this went viral, and Dagan has all of the you got to read some of those. But first, your reaction to what happened at the Washington Post.
Well, I think, again, the Washington Post will do everything they can not to give a compliment to President Trump. It just shows the incredible bias that the Washington Post has against this president. They spend hours after hour, reporter after reporter, basically nitpicking and criticizing President Trump. It's why they can't be taken seriously. It's why the president calls the Washington Post fake news. And it's why the president goes directly to the American people through social media, because he wants to ensure that they're receiving and they know what the president is thinking.
Right.
This was a huge victory for the president, and it once again shows where the Washington Post is in terms of their advocacy for the Democrats and their basically hatred for the president.
It's true. It's hard to defend this, Dagan. These headlines are embarrassing. Washington Post should be embarrassed.
And I would say that there was bipartisan mockery of and shame at what the Washington Post did. Democracy dies in the Washington Post newsroom, clearly. But again, in terms of the mockery, the major trending hashtag on Twitter yesterday was hashtag WAPO death notices. And here's one from Christopher Jacobs: Darth Vader, disabled single father of 2, passes away. There are others about Adolf Hitler, dedicated art enthusiast, animal rights activist, and talented orator, dies at 56. Essentially of how the Washington Post would have written the death notices of famous tyrants, if you will. Or murderers and rapists. I've got more, but they're absolutely hilarious.
Incredible. I mean, Tom, you know, when you look at 2020 and what the president has accomplished, and then you see the coverage of it, it's just not accurate.
Yeah. No, and I wanted to ask Mercedes, you know, Maria referenced Obama's jump in his job approval rating after the killing of Osama bin Laden. And Mercedes, we've seen President Trump's approval rating has been really solid and stable, regardless of the circumstances. Democrats have never given him any credit, even when he's done things that they agree with, theoretically, on trade and the like. So do you expect to get any political benefit from this vis-a-vis his job approval rating? And will this be, as Obama famously incorporated this into his re-election, saying Osama bin Laden's dead and GM's alive? That was a main campaign speech. Will the president use this as part of his 2020 campaign?
Well, I mean, obviously, the president will continue to tout his great accomplishments. I mean, what we've seen under this president, not only from the domestic policy side, which, as you all cover, with the booming economy, the fact of where we are from low unemployment numbers to more investment here in the United States. I mean, there's a real positive, optimistic story to tell. And then when you look at it from the foreign policy perspective, look, this president is not afraid to take risks. This president understands that we do not want to put our armed forces in danger. And it really, he does spend a lot of time reevaluating foreign policy from the past. We've been in an era of decade after decade of status quo where we have been, the United States, involved in so many different regions. And so he does he's looked, reevaluated, and said, how can we make changes to ensure that our men and women in uniform are not in harm's way, that we use our special forces strategically, and yet we still deliver results. And we've seen this. We were able to get a permanent ceasefire with Turkey, obviously creating a safe zone for the Kurds. We're getting more of our allies to have share their burden when it comes to, for example, paying their NATO bills. And that is because President Trump is not going to be just a status quo president. He wants effective change. He's a game changer, and he understands that the way to do this is to make sure that our allies have more an investment in these different regions that are closer to their countries, and making sure that America does this in a more effective way with our military operations.
I'll tell you right now, the biggest accomplishment the president can have is getting USMCA done. That will go such a long way in terms of impacting people's lives. And so far, we don't know if Nancy Pelosi is going to bring it to the floor, although I will say this. We had a number of guests in the last week that were sure that it will pass and it will come to the floor this year. Even Henry Cuellar, who is a congressman, a Democratic congressman, said it will pass. What do you think, Mercedes, real quick?
Well, I think that it's about time that Nancy Pelosi brings this up to the floor. They have spent over a year negotiating the terms of USMCA.
Yeah.
We have worked very closely with both Democrats and Republicans. The problem is the Democrats are so focused in this impeachment inquiry, closed-door discussions, trying to take down the president, that they're not focused on the work of the people. And that's the biggest disgrace of this Democrat Party. And it's why we have to restore integrity into Congress and ensure that we get Republicans elected next year, because of the Democrats' political shenanigans in terms of them trying to destroy this president.
Yeah, it sure feels like a lot of shenanigans, Mercedes. Good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Mercedes Schlapp joining us there.